Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Sheahan, and welcome to a Code Conversation. Before we begin, Code acknowledges that our association spans land across Turtle Island, which is the traditional territory of many Indigenous peoples. We honor them as the original storytellers and stewards of this land. May we never forget their legacies, and may we learn well the lessons their descendants have to teach us about living on and with the earth. We will practice this sign of respect, acknowledge the rich history of these lands and Indigenous nations, honor the truth of the past, and uphold our original treaty, the Two-Row Wampum, to peacefully care for the land and each other through our drama and dance teaching practices. And at Code, we like to ask everyone to think about when thinking about truth, reconciliation, and decolonization, what can you do in your capacity as a drama and dance educator, performer, and any capacity as a human being to further that discussion and that path forward together? I myself am coming at you from the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Wendat Huron peoples. And I'm here today to talk about NTS DramaFest. And I have here with me Erika Kierulf, Richard Lee, and Sarah Poole. And I'm going to have them each introduce themselves very quickly. So, Erika, could you introduce yourself to us, please?
Hi, my name is Erika Kierulf, and I'm one of the co-directors for the NTS DramaFest, and I am coming to you from Jojage, the unceded
Amazing.
traditional territories of the Ganingahaga Nation.
And over to Richard Lee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Lee. My pronouns are he, him. I am the other co-director of the NTS Drama Fest, and typically I would be calling in from Ottawa, which is the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Mohawk.
And then over to Sarah.
Hey, I am Sarah Poole, and I am responsible for student outreach at the National Theatre School, and I am coming to you from my home in Montreal.
And this
Amazing.
is Lily Bart.
Oh,
I mean, if
no,
we're gonna get
Lily,
into pets, cute pets, eventually I could put all three of my pets in and be like all right here. But
please.
Let's do
it's
it.
not a competition we need to get into right now. So, I'm gonna start with a very broad question for everyone. Why theater now? In the age of everything we have going on, why theater now? And who would like to tackle that first? Erica?
Wow. I think that theater now is important in this day and age of digital saturation. Having come out of the pandemic, we were all online like this.
Hmm.
Theater is about connection. It is about immediacy. It is about community. And yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Richard.
Over to
Sarah, you
Richard,
wanna
yeah.
go? Why theater now, Sarah?
Why theater now? Because it's real, because it's human, and because it's fun. I think that theater not only helps us connect with each other, but also connect in ways with ourselves that
Mm.
we don't get unless we get to have these beautiful moments of like conversation and dialogue with each other. And I love the fact that Codes is also for dance because as a former dancer, like you can have those dialogues without words. One of the beautiful things about theater is that you can actually have conversations using the words that somebody else wrote and connect with someone else and with yourself at the same time. So for, like Erica said, connection, but and also all that exploration is so fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, beautiful answers. Thank you. I think, my answer is not going to be very much different. It really, truly is about the connections that we have. I mean, think about the experiences in your life that give you tingles, that make you feel, you know, not just connected with other people, but with something bigger, whether it's church, whether it's a concert, whether it's a sporting event. Theater is one of these places where we congregate to come and breathe together and experience a moment of something that is bigger than us, and we hope that every theater experience leads us all with the chills. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like just like shivers down your spine. And whether one receives that in all of the different formats that I mentioned, or whether it's in
Mm.
a live theater performance venue, this is the medium that we chose. This is the place where we come to have a moment of true connection with each other as audience members and with whoever's telling us the story.
What
Amazing.
was what was it that this idea of everyone's heartbeat becoming synchronized
Yes.
when you're in the
Mm.
theater,
Yeah.
watching
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our heartbeats are in rhythm and our breath is in rhythm. And like truly, you can't get that in a digital sense, right?
No.
I'm sorry to go on about this, but
Yeah.
like Zoom's, look at this awkward, like janky conversation pacing. And I think, you asked this question of why theater now. I ask myself that almost every day as a practicing artist, kind of going, why do I want to do this? Why do I
Mm.
want to take my time? There could be a lot more things I could be earning money off of and doing whatever, but there's nothing like the calling of being in a live theater performance,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, and I was going to actually say when Erica said about about being online, I was like, well, here we are online. I mean, there are functions. There's a thing, right? We can. It's great to be able to connect from across different provinces and different cities, but there's nothing like being in the same space and sharing that
Yeah.
experience together. Yeah, I teach high school drama, and even the recordings of productions I've done that were so visceral and so real and so magical in the moment. Then you watch the recording, and you're like, I'm good. I don't need to watch the recording again. I have that memory of what happened. Amazing. So one of two questions. I have two questions for you, and you can answer both or only one. So, in what way does theater right now enrich your lives? Or in what way did you discover your love of theater and find your place? Which is also super important.
I
And we're
guess
going to
I should.
start with Richard this time because you went last time. So you go
Damn
first
it,
this time.
no! Okay. What ways does theater enrich your lives? Or in what ways did you okay, I'll start with how I discovered theater. So I, like you, one of the first shows I ever watched was The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, you're sharing a secret story. I just shared that secretly, but yes, it's true. That was the first show,
Right?
really big first show I ever saw.
But
Yeah.
to your point of your story, I think as a young person, it captured my imagination in a way that was like, wow, like telling a story, asking one to use their imagination is so exciting. However, I will share with you all this secret now, which is one of the first theater shows I ever saw was The Mousetrap when it
Oh,
was running
wow.
Chuck Theater, yeah, for 30 odd years. And the only reason why I saw it was because I was working at Licks and I got Employee of the Month. And as part of that treat, they took you to see The Mousetrap. And I don't know, there was just something about being unable to escape and being forced to watch the show, which was actually very well performed, take me away on this journey. And uh, at the time, I was, was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and it was the one thing that just itched away at like, oh, there's something in here that I want to do. So this, I guess, will segue into the other half of the question, which is, enriching lives. I will say, and I suppose this could be true of anything I do. Learning to be the best kind of human being I can be, I have learned through the values of theater. Not just through the pieces, by and large, learning about everything in life through the pieces that I've done, yes, but also through the relationships and learning how to solve problems together, learning how to come to tell an important thing that means so much to us. I wish everyone could have the same kind of passion
Hmm.
and clarity and foresight. I think we would just not be an apathetic world. And this is how theater enriches my life. It teaches me how to viscerally be present, right? See people for who they are and be able to stand for myself in the confidence that it provides. It allows me to patiently learn about other people, different things, how to be open to possibilities. Like I think theater does this in so many ways, and that's just as the theater artist.
Mm.
But the hope always is that as theater practitioners, we're teaching our audiences and giving them something that either entertains, educates, or enlightens them. Right? Those are my three E's. Wanting to really find those three pathways in. If we get one, amazing. If we get two, good. If we get all three, oh, those are the shows that really like those are the special ones. You know,
Amazing.
and
Now, I do have a question though, follow-up question. What are your
yeah,
thoughts
please.
on Phantom of the Opera now?
Yes. So this is the secret guilty pleasure is that I do sing the song still. Uh, but as a piece of theater, like here's the thing that I'm trying to learn and reconcile as a person who makes theater. It's like
Hmm.
that version of the Phantom, beautiful. The choices they made, lovely. What I cannot stand is how people feel like that's the only choice we have to make Phantom that way. I would
Mhm.
Yeah.
love to see a Phantom that was completely redesigned inside out to make it like,
Amazing.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and I think as a piece of theater, hey, as my entryway in, if I can inspire someone else to love theater the way that Phantom did for me, great. I just, I love Harold Prince. I just don't want to see that version of Phantom anymore. That's all.
Hey,
Yeah,
I told you all before, like it's not my favorite piece of theater anymore, but it has a place, right? Like
absolutely.
it's some people viscerally still love it, but if I hadn't watched it when I was very young, I wouldn't be where I am right now doing what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
it had that
Yep.
power. Sarah, over to you since you're getting the sandwich right in the middle every time here.
I'm fine. I can be the sandwich. I'm the middle child in my family, so I'm probably used to that. Okay, re can you repeat the questions because my aging brain
Well,
didn't
you don't
remember
have to.
them.
You can answer one or the other, or both. In what ways
Both?
does theater enrich your life, or
Yeah.
in what way did you discover your love of theater and find your place?
Yeah. Okay, so growing up I did a lot of different things and I had started as a dancer when I was a little kid and then my family moved around a lot and I had the good fortune to move to a place. I'm from the United States originally. I moved to a place one summer where there was no really good dance training, but there was a really great theater program for adolescents. And we did theater stuff all summer, and we did musical theater too. And that's when I started loving that because
Amazing.
I was used to having to sort of be very strictly obedient and rigid. And now it was sort of like, oh, okay. And you still like, how do you learn to be responsible to the group, responsible to the project or the assignment or the play or the musical, but you still get to have a voice. You still get to use imagination and use your body and everything differently. So for a while there, my crisis was, do I want to be a dancer or do I want to be an actress? And well, anyway, so I didn't,
Maybe
yeah,
both.
but exactly. But you know, when you think like this too much when you're a kid, you need to make choices. So I'm finding myself back at NTS now, and it's theater now. I think every time I go to the theater as an audience person, I really want to hear what the playwright, what the director, right, what the cast have to tell me about their experience of what it is to be a human being. And it's really strange. Sometimes I feel like that is just a way of understanding and helps me to think about like what's meaningful in my life and my way of
Hmm.
seeing the world in a completely different kind of way. So on the other side of performing, for me, going to the theater keeps me learning still about what it is to be a person. And I love that moment of realizing that, man, hours have gone by and I've been entertained or I've been educated or I've felt something really deeply in a way that I just don't get otherwise.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love the fact that, mm, so since I immigrated to Canada, I was in dance and I've been in circus a lot. And one of the things that I find incredibly meaningful about theater is how complete artists are, theater's artists are, because most people are not just actors. Most people are actors who also understand how to write. Most people are actually writers who have a vision of what it is to direct. And most people are
Hmm.
like, yeah, you know what? I need to actually be able to hang those lights myself, or I need to actually be able to program the board. So I love how being in theater, one of the things that it brings to my life is seeing how people who are involved in theater make it happen and have all of these kinds of multiplicity of skills and then just sort of show up and pitch in. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, over to Erica.
My God, I can so run with that.
Show up, pitch
I
in.
will, I will, I will circle back to it, but I'll start with my first experiences in theater, high school. I wasn't on the stage really. I tried it. I hated it. I was more of a behind the scenes tech kind of person. Um, the show that captivated me and really had me like in awe, and I could see like the all of the possibilities that theater could do was seeing Les Aiguilles et l'Opium, so Needles and Opium.
Yeah.
Um, and it was Robert Lepage doing like a solo one-man show. And I was just like, wow, the projection, wow, the scena, wow, like it had me. But incidentally, like what I studied in post-sec was fine arts. And I did, I did an undergrad, I did a grad, and I really found that like working in the visual arts was great, was amazing, but it was so singular. And what I
Mm,
was lacking was this ability to be able to create with other people. And I think that um that's what's so unique about theater is that you can do theater on your own, but you can't do theater on your own, you know?
Yes.
You need that community. And there is nothing like being able to problem solve with your cast and with your crew, to be able to work through like, oh, what can we do to refine this section of the text? And
mm,
talk with your director, talk with your stage. Like everyone has their place and their role. And it's so important, that collective creation that everyone is doing. So that for me is like the hook of like, oh, like I want connection. I want to work with people.
mm,
And yeah, I mean, like theater teaches empathy. You have to put yourself, not only as an actor, but as like in the audience, you're putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Um, it's it's amazing soft skills that you learn in theater, just with trying to navigate certain problems, how to quickly troubleshoot and be on your feet and be on your toes. Um, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but like I think we're all kind of saying the same thing. So yeah,
for sure.
it's about the
Amazing.
connection.
All right, so let's get in right into the NTS Drama Fest. So, in this day and age of competing interests all
Mm.
around the country, provincially, province to province, why NTS Drama Fest? And that's a big question. And who's willing? We can even mix it up and see who wants to answer first.
Mm.
Hmm. I think we should make Sarah answer first, since she was always in the middle.
Okay. I'm gonna give a tiny answer and then I'm gonna let. So
Okay.
why NTS Drama Fest? So it was funny because I was actually right before we started talking, I was reading do you guys know the Massey Commission? Y'all are
Mhm.
so as a not growing up here, I'm learning a lot about that stuff. So, and I just was actually just reading the text about how they talked about how sparse and you know empty Canada is of people and how it's so hard to be able to connect over these huge distances, and that they basically were like, hey, we really need to get together to make something happen and
Mhm.
invest in Canadian culture. So why NTS Drama Fest? Because it's a celebration and not a competition. And it's a way of having people who love theater be able to transmit it when I'm thinking about the teachers who are there
Mhm.
supporting the projects of their students, and a way of like giving us a reason to cross these physical distances to be able to come together and share what we build and what we make. And give each other feedback about it and help move each other forward. That's my short answer.
Amazing. Eric,
Beautiful.
Erica or Richard?
I
So
will
Erica's
jump
ready.
in and say that I don't think it's about saying like NTS over any other festival. I think
Hmm.
all festivals are amazing. I think every opportunity that there is for youth to be able to participate in theater,
Hmm.
if they can do cappies, if they can do improv, if they can like whatever, like so long as they have that opportunity to be able to connect with youth from across the province or across the nation,
Hmm.
so be it. I
Amazing.
mean, yeah. Richard?
Yeah, I mean, Sarah, you said it succinctly. We're not a competition, we're a celebration of the work and of what students have to say. And I agree with Erica. Yes, the opportunities that exist everywhere, like we're not all the same. It wouldn't make sense for us to only have one festival, only do NTS Drama Fest because we're the best or whatever it might be. But what makes I think NTS Drama Fest so uniquely special is I feel like it's the opportunity for students to hear their voices and
Mm,
hear them at the district level, and then the productions that get to move forward get to represent their district and have
Hmm.
further conversations at the regional level, and then another you get to hear what locally someone else thinks is important to them. And then, culminating into the provincial. And the whole reason for that is to have a provincial conversation, for us to, even in this minuscule way, touch base so that I understand what folks in North Bay find as a key thing that they want to say. And likewise, in all our other DramaFest communities all across Canada, it would be so great. It's like the big dream one day to have a national festival in Ottawa and like in juxtaposition to politicians saying and fighting and like yelling at each other and trying to be right, when
Hmm.
we have a festival here that brings together the youth, the future of this country, displaying and very succinctly saying what is important to them, why it is important to them, and why we should listen.
Amazing. All right, so I think it's really important when talking about getting involved in NTS Drama Fest. So, what are some tips that you would give educators working with youth for getting involved? Like, what would you like want them to know, or advice you'd give them? Ooh,
I'll start.
we're
I'll
out of
start.
order
Yeah.
now. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Woohoo!
I've been thinking about this one recently. There's so much that we can say, and there's lots of different advice that we can give. But I will say the thing I have been holding on to recently is failing forward.
Mm,
And what I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sure you all know what I mean by that. But like, there you don't get to be great. You don't get to blaze trails without failure. It is failure that is the great teacher of how we want to be amazing, how we want to communicate our pieces. You don't get to make a show about basketball that moves people in every facet without writing really bad basketball plays first and like really ugly versions of the show. And to quote a movie, Sing Street, in it, the brother who is a rock and roller says, "Rock and roll is a risk. You risk being ridiculed." And it's like, oh my God, that feels like such a huge deal, but it's true. Like you put yourself out there, you fail forward so hard, and you will find the thing that is true, and you will be better, you will be greater.
Hmm.
hmm hmm Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Can I jump in? I would say
Of course.
to prioritize process over
mm,
like something that's perfect.
yep.
Which is kind of like riffing off Richard a little bit, but
Hmm.
really, at the NTS Drama Fest, we're not necessarily like looking for things to be perfectly polished and what have you, like it's about taking those risks, and trying things out and trusting in the process, and learning from it and growing with it and experimenting and building together.
Amazing. Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, I think Erica took the words out of my mouth just because I know at even at the school for, when kids grow up and they're older, what the teachers look at, and there are no grades, but what they're looking at is each individual student's process and not the results of it. So if I had advice for teachers who are supporting projects, yeah, I would ask them to definitely keep that in mind and also be patient with themselves and with their own process and try to make sure that it's it's not about their work that's evaluated either. And at the end of the day, what they're building is memories, and they're building a team, and they're building students who are able to experience aspects of themselves that they wouldn't have been able to just in regular academic classes and practice. So yeah.
They're
Yeah, I think it's
building a
really important.
family.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's interesting because like, I live in I'm in Belleville, and like I taught in a rural community, and I have friends
yeah,
who teach in rural communities, and having as many opportunities as possible for students to get involved and find
the
their place
practice.
is
Yeah.
so important. And so I like when we going back to the second last question we had, like that everyone's talking about, that we need more things happening, not, one thing over the next. And I think that's really important to put that message out there. And I really
Hmm.
want to thank everyone for their time tonight. That was amazing. Is there anyone have any final last words before we sign off? And then you're like, oh no, I should have said that. Like, where do you get those awesome glasses, Erica? They're fantastic. I like those. It's a
The
strong glasses game.
internet. No. No, I don't know. I feel like we could probably fill up an hour and a half conversation easily.
That's true.
We could.
But eventually I'll have to like go to bed and live our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
you go ahead, Sarah, please.
oh, I was just going to say, I just had a thought about also how one of the beautiful things is also watching how people love theater can also be excellent audiences for each other. That
Hmm.
just sort of flashed into my head. And so I think that's also one of the amazing aspects of coming together, like at the NTS Drama Fest. So last thought.
Awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah. If you can't
Were you gonna leave it
participate or
there?
you,
Yeah.
yeah, or if you don't want to participate, definitely you come and you see what it's like.
But you are participating
Hmm.
when you come.
You
The
are.
audience is important.
You're there.
Exactly. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't have theater unless you have an audience.
It's 100%.
So,
You're just a lonely person shouting in a room.
mhm.
It's a kind of
Amazing.
sad play.
Oh, that's no, we
It
don't
was
want that for
brilliant.
anyone.
Nobody saw it.
Um, Amazing. Thank Erica, Sarah, Richard, thank you so much for your time, and have a lovely evening.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.